you see everyone in the room?
Yeah, I can see everyone.
It should be. Okay. Okay, everybody, morning. Welcome back. Day 2. Yeah. Okay, guys. We're doing something very special today. Today, just for your benefit and for your context, just so that everybody can. We're not. We're not. Oh, hi Violeta. It's Antoinette from Electric South. How are you? Hi. And we just wanted to welcome you to the New Dimensions Lab. This is the second day for us. And for just for everyone, this is part of a series of online talks. We're doing 4 online talks about AI for artists, specifically African artists, and looking at kind of how we figure ourselves in the current and future kind of iterations of how we take on AI and how we remain included in our voices and our narratives kind of represented. And we'll get into that in a moment. So I just wanted to give everyone the opportunity to welcome you. Could we give Violeta a really big round of applause? And also welcome to the BTS crew. The BTS crew is here today, guys. Hi. Okay, great. So what we're gonna do now, and thank you so much, Wandile, for yeah, thanks for that. So what we'll do now is, so the talk is live streamed, so there's an audience on Zoom. The talk is also recorded, so it'll be going up on our YouTube at a later stage. But for now, what we're going to do is we're going to let everyone in the Zoom waiting room into the meeting, and then I'll reintroduce Violeta, and Violeta, then I'll hand over to you. Is that okay? Great. Welcome, everybody. Hi to everybody that we are having join us on Zoom. And this is the first in a series of talks that Electric South is hosting, with thanks to the Mozilla Foundation. And it's made, the Mozilla Foundation has made it possible for us to be able to host 4 online talks that looks at AI for African artists and tries to tries to have us think through all of the questions that we probably have around how does AI remain responsible and ethical at the intersection of arts and technology, and how we'd like to use it. And we are going to be exploring that together with Violeta and 3 other speakers in the course of this week. We're at the New Dimensions Lab in Johannesburg, South Africa. Can we just give a quick woohoo from the in-person audience here, guys, so that everybody on Zoom who can see you can hear you? Great. So Violeta, thank you again for joining us. Violeta is a good friend of Electric South. She's been at several of our labs, not in person. We're waiting for that day. But she joins us now and she'll tell us from where. She's a Bolivian Australian artist, technologist, director, and she's going to get into her work. And we're very, very, very happy to have her here. Today, she is going to be giving a talk called AI as Alchemy, Transforming Codes into Social and Cultural Narratives. And without further ado, Violeta, I'm going to hand it over to you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Before we begin, I would like to pay my respect to the indigenous people in which land I'm standing on today, the Gadigal people. They were, are, and forever be the guardians of this land. My name is Violeta Ayala, and I'm an indigenous, a Quechua filmmaker, creative technologist, imaginal explorer. And today we're going to be discussing a lot of things about how I work with artificial intelligence and new technologies in order to find my own voice. Also, I'm looking for creative sovereignty, and the talk is called AI as an Alchemy, transforming codes into social and cultural narratives, right? But before we, can you hear the video? But before we go further, I would like to ask for a minute of silence for respect for the children in Palestine. And I would like to ask you to join me in asking for ceasefire. Thank you. It's difficult times, right? And I think I can't avoid the elephant in the room. The least I can do is to pay my respect and to use my art to bring my attention. Thank you. I will start with something that I always start my presentations, and it's a beautiful African proverb that I adapted it to suit my context. And it says that until the jaguars tell their own story, the story of the hunt will always glorify the hunter. I think this is the guide to all my work. And that's a blue jaguar that we created for Prison X. Now, I'd like to tell you that I created pretty much everything in this keynote. the triplets, each of them were created last year, sorry. We, let me see, I'll play it in this form. That's better, right? Gee, no, it's not. Escape again. So these triplets I created on this keynote that are different versions of myself. I created in February this year. But at this moment, February of this year, in terms of technology, it feels like 10 years ago. Because, and you will see, I'll show you a little bit the difference of what we create today, what we created in February or March or April of this year. So things are going really, really fast. These ones are not the prettiest, but because I say I created it in February, and they're versions of my face. And they're also my own model. So my own model is not as nice as the models that you can get commercially, but they were mine, right? So it has a different feeling to it. So this is a background in Panama that I created with this body that I was training it. So I'm going to take you a little bit about the evolution of the web. This time I won't focus too much on it because I think that we all kind of a bit more aware than before. But I'm going to, can you hear it? Can you hear it?
Yes.
What's up?
Can you hear
I'm a little nervous to share my knowledge with you today about the evolution of the internet. Sure, the current situation gives me some pause, but let's not let that weigh us down. Instead, let's cruise down memory lane and see where it all began. The Web 1.0 era kicked off the digital age. For the first time, people could search for and access information online. But it was just the start. The web was basic, only allowing people to read and not interact or add any content. As we continue, we'll take a closer look at the different stages of the internet's evolution and the massive impact it's had on our lives.
Okay. Okay. Can you hear it?
We can hear it.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, because I'm.
Hi, how are you?
I'll see if I can play it.
Hi, how are you all going today? I will help thee with this live talk and give you a little background of Web 2.0, the internet we know today. Tools like blogs and social media sites were introduced, allowing users to generate content. In addition, online e-commerce and video streaming services were developed, expanding the possibilities for accessing and creating media. Web 2.0 is characterized by user-generated content and interaction between people. This has transformed the way we communicate. However, it has also created a terrible imbalance of power, where control of information is in the hands of a few. Privacy and online security are key issues, and we live with their consequences every day, even though our governments don't give a damn.
So this is Web 3.0, and this is with data of my own daughter, as I imagine when she turns 18. And it will be semantic, intelligent, and decentralized. Or the other choice is going to be a catastrophe for all of us if we don't achieve that.
Hello, my name is Sushi, and I'm a digital twin of Suri, an 8-year-old girl. I want to talk to you about something very important, the future of the internet. The internet is changing and it's becoming even more cooler than before with something called Web 3.0 or the semantic web. Right now, there's a battle going on between the companies and governments who want to control it. But it's up to us to make sure that the future of the internet is fair and equal for everyone. We have a unique opportunity to change the future and prioritize things like fairness, justice, and data sovereignty.
So I'm going to have the voice of my daughter as an 8-year-old forever. Now my daughter is already 9, but I can use her voice to recreate a lot of different audios and have that as a treasure, really. So I want to imagine if we, the people, control Web 3.0, a truly liberating process. We will have a new relationship with a system or technology that actually understands us and can interpret the true meaning behind our words, phrases, and other languages. This intelligent system will be capable of tasks that typically require human intelligence, learning, understanding, and adapting to new information. I'm really working on that at the moment. And it will all be powered by a decentralized network. That's not happening at the moment. One that is not controlled by a single authority, but instead relies on distributed nodes or participants. This will give power back to the people and ensure that everyone has an equal say on how technology is used and developed. And I think this is key, especially this is key in Africa and this is key in Latin America. And this is key for everyone, really. And we've seen what's happening today with the battle of information, misinformation, and how this battle is happening between OpenAI and Cloud and Anthropic and Google, and how they are controlling, like Google is the biggest, controller of the internet. I don't know what's happening here, but I'm over this. Oh, sorry. Okay, I don't want to have this thing over. Okay, it's only me. Sorry. So here I would like to let you know how much this has already evolved from February 2023 to September 2023.
If corporations gain control of Web 3.0, we face a future of techno-authoritarianism. Picture this: companies with unprecedented power over information and technology, manipulating society as they see fit. Our data has become one of the most valuable commodities on Earth, but it is also the most vulnerable resource, as corporations are always looking for ways to exploit it for their own benefit.
So here's the deal. The current situation poses some serious challenges to privacy, freedom of expression, and democracy. And the worst part, decisions about how technology is used and regulated are being made by a very tiny small group of individuals and corporations, instead of the people who will actually be affected by them. This means that governments and corporations could end up using this power to control us. And that's a scary thought, because we have no transparency. It's zero transparency in how these models are getting trained. And I don't think the government regulations are enough. And I also don't trust governments to regulate anything. You imagine the government of Israel, the US, Australia, Russia, regulating the artificial intelligence and the access that we will have. I don't know. I'm really scared at this moment in time. So this is another little video that I created with AI just in September 2023. A little click is I don't speak French.
Et pour moi, il est très important de briser cette idée de l'élitisme de l'art et de briser ces frontières de pourquoi nous créons des choses. Qu'est-ce que la photographie? Qu'est-ce que le film? Ce n'était pas une représentation d'un regard colonial envers, dans ce cas, mon peuple, le peuple Kétra des Amériques. Pourquoi ne puis-je pas utiliser la technologie comme l'intelligence artificielle et la réalité augmentée pour redéfinir ces idées, pour imaginer et oser arrêter de se plaindre? Je pense que se plaindre est douloureux, mais cela soulage ce qui nous est arrivé. Donc, il faut oser essayer. Non, je ne veux pas continuer à me plaindre. Je veux oser réimaginer ce que nous aurions pu être, comprendre, oser aller plus loin que cela en adoptant simplement ce point de vue colonialiste de l'extérieur vers l'intérieur afin de repenser nos possibilités et d'explorer de nouvelles perspectives. Et là, c'est mon histoire. Ceci est mon histoire. C'est l'histoire que je voulais. C'est cette histoire. Je veux que mes enfants et les enfants autochtones comprennent ce que nous aurions pu être. Non, aujourd'hui n'est pas suffisant. Non, plat n'est pas suffisant. Nous pouvons utiliser ce moment pour imaginer cette connexion entre les oiseaux et les grands-mères qui n'a jamais existé.
So you can see the difference between the two videos played, the one created in February 2023 to the one created now. I don't speak French, and it actually translated a text that I gave in Spanish and was able to train to that level in French. My daughter that is fluent in French, she always get upset about it because she says, you don't speak French. And I say, I have the proof, you know? So this is something that will make us think about not everything that we see recorded is true, right? And this is what's made by me. And it was made by me in under 1 hour. So I would like you to think about it and think about what's happening and understand the capabilities of all of these models, but also how scary could be, right? Again, I would like to talk a little bit about something called ubiquity. By the way, I am neurodiverse. So if I'm going too fast or if you're losing my train of thought, please let me know and I'm gonna go back, okay? Because I make a very different way of how I relate things. So here, I believe that ubiquity has changed the way we live our lives, and it's only getting more pervasive. From the internet to the smartphones to social media, we're constantly connected to the world around us. We are over-connected, but also very tired about it. Now we are on a cusp on an era. I think that the spatial web and 3D graphics are poised to offer a new level of immersion and interactivity never seen before. And AI is the game changer and will transform our lives in a way we cannot even imagine yet. So this is, again, a 3D scan that I did in February. Today, I need 15 seconds to generate the same and better. 15 seconds of video to generate something like this 3D scan that you've seen it here. I believe that also 2022 marks the end of the social media era. I think we are now in a new time because we are tired, because we are bombarded by information the entire day and every day and every night. And we are not getting anything. It's too much to process. So I think that also we also don't trust social media like the way we used to trust. So I think that we are going through a very big change too. And I think we're going to look for new ways to communicate amongst each other, amongst communities. And I think that maybe if we're lucky, we can actually do in this way that will be decentralized and we all can benefit from it. So also I'm going to show you a video that illustrates the concept that I've been discussing. provides like a very concrete example of the power of AI is changing everything. In the video, I started with a photo of me, of my Wikipedia page, and the other one was a screen grab of a masterclass that I give in Glasgow back in 2010. I write the text myself, and I ran it to an AI program, and within seconds, my digital twin was talking. I have never said this at the time.
Web3 has the potential to change everything. It could help eliminate the digital divide and increase access to information for all people. Decentralization could also help reduce the power of large corporations and increase competition in the digital market. And in the film industry, it could transform the way we produce, consume, and distribute films. With semantics, we could create our own distribution channels, just like Netflix or Amazon, but we need community. Imagine a world where filmmakers can create their own content and distribute it directly to their audience without relying on big studios or distributors.
So again, you can see the power of this creation, but I never said this in 2010. And the other one was a photograph. I never said that in 2010. It was 13 years ago. I was a lot younger, you know, and I didn't know what will happen now. So how we can even change memories? Because if in 100 years, or 50 years, somebody find out, my daughter finds that, this video, she will think that I said it in 2010, right? Or maybe no. So my next idea, it's about metacognition, and is the thinking about how we think. Because I believe representation is not just about skin color. It's about culture, identity, language, interaction, a way to understand and relate to our communities, nations, and the world. And another way of communication is brewing. And this moment, in a sense, is some ways unprecedented. If you think about it, what's happening today is like AI has the potential to standardize us all. If you go into these AI systems like ChatGPT or other or cloud, they actually think like a white man, because all the input into it was like a white man to it, right? And doesn't have the nuances that we have, doesn't understand the word that I understand as a Quechua woman. Also has a very, very strong parameters of beauty or macho culture. And so I think that we need to start thinking about how we can design these models that will follow our own process of thought. How I think metacognition is a fancy way of saying that we have the ability to think about our own thinking. You know, we have to start being aware about our own cognitive process, how we develop that idea, where I got there, why I think like this. Is that something cultural? Is that something imposed? Is that something that came to me? Like, we really need to think about our beliefs, our assumptions, our mental models, and how the media shape those mental models. It's like we come outside ourselves and we look at ourselves, and like it's like taking a step back and observing your own thought process. You look at yourself from the outside, and this is something I created, looking at the representation of people.
Hola, what's happening? No cap in my caption. Hola, what's happening? No cap in my caption. Got a little baddie and she texting for the addy because I got a little thing for when a bitch get ratchet. The ratchet of snow. Soy la mexicana con tremendo flow. Tengo todo el control.
So the next thing I will go is I will talk about, I think 2022 is a point where changes things, but until 2022, I think social media has changed everything. in many ways. I think we go from a single creation to building digital memories. I think that, as I said, I made 4 feature films over the years and a VR interactive animation. All of them are really successful. They premiere at international film festivals like Toronto, Sundance, and have shown in PBS and Amazon, blah, 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 okay? But something interesting happened to me a year ago when I went back to Bolivia. I made a TikTok video that ended up getting now 1 million views and sparked a lot of debate. And that made me understand that what we were doing when we are, let me see. So all of these little things should play along. We are now use all of this content from different sources. And we are actually making these connections in our brain. So we are actually having a collective memory of times. We are here, I'm here, and I could be living other things that other people are living in different places and also online. So my memory is getting shaped, not just by the physical, but also by the digital. There are people that I met once or I never met in real life, but I feel like I know them because I am actually making those memories and those connections in my brain. So everybody pretty much can tell their own stories today. If you have a phone and if you have access to the internet, can tell your own story, right? And so a single author or a team of creators is not the same, right? Like we get bored when you see something told by one person, because now you are asking your brain to go back to the past when you're used to having a lot of people telling your story, their stories. Of course, there is an algorithmic effect there, but also like when you know the algorithm, we humans are very smart, so we actually fight a lot to beat the algorithm and watch things of different people at different times. So also we are used to very fast little videos and we make these connections. But the social media has give anyone with a phone and an internet connection can share their own stories in a way that's both authentic and unrepresented. So everyone, by the way, there's a study done that everyone spends 90 minutes per day on TikTok. So our brains are constantly making connections between different stories from all over the world. So we have a very different understanding and relationship with storytelling. I use this little idea of Ken Bai. This is like a XR oral historian, that he says that we're going from the outer narrative to the generative narrative. And in the outer narrative, the character of an event, personal culture is revealed, like you tell this story, but the viewer has no impact on the story. But in the generative narrative, the character of the viewer is revealed, the interactor is revealed, and they have maximized agency and expression of will. So that's the very big, this is the very big change that we are actually going through. And then I will show you something. I have a Runaway ML has given me a scholarship, a fellowship where I can use their models, and also I can train my own model with my own pictures. And I created this little video that also with AI that represents me more. So it's called 1978, Cochabamba, Bolivia. I was born during a dictatorship. The inequalities were insupportable, unbearable. The movements of countryside workers, indigenous and workers were in the streets. I used to tell my grandparents if the army was spying on us. And the army arrived in their tanks. But the protests keep growing and growing in all of the country. My grandfather, Italiano, was born in a little town in the middle of the mountains. He became a campesino leader, an indigenous leader. Capable of moving hundreds of thousands of countryside people. He was known for not being afraid of the army. And women like Domitila Chungara was also in the streets. My grandmother is the one who supported our family. Everybody thought that I was too little to understand. They closed the universities and my mother couldn't go to uni. But I have all the memories on my hard drive. So this is a little mood board that I created again under 1 hour. But again, I've been training these models and I exercise my muscle of creating, I use artificial intelligence, and runway ML in this case, as a camera. It's my camera. So I actually been training this for a very long time. So now I know what to ask. And in this particular one, I will show you that how I train my own model to get these kind of pictures, right? So yes, it took me under an hour to make this specific video, but I've been working almost every day. This is a constant process of training and playing because I really love to play and I really love this potential is something that I'm doing quite a lot, right? So that's the difference. Then we'll also talk about something called spatial cognition, and we're not going to leave media and films in a flat way. I don't believe that. And I think that we're going to develop this ability to understand and navigate a virtual space. By the way, again, these grandmothers are created with AI. I created them as a way to look at my ancestors with dignity, to change this idea of how we were looked down upon us. And I wanted to create them with dignity. And I created them with with DALL-E 2. It was early times. It was more than a year ago, but in technology times, feels like 20 years ago. But I think still they are really good. So we will go to the gallery soon. I will show you. They are on a gallery. I recreated the gallery with a 3D scan, and I put them there in a spatial, as you can see. So spatial cognition is the range of mental processes related to digital spatial information. So how we understand and lay out the dimensions of virtual environments, how we navigate to these virtual spaces and interact with these virtual objects. I don't think there is another way but to do it, to train it, to look for your own way to understand these spaces. There are no rules. The rules is that there are no rules. The rules are that you need to find your own rules. So yeah, the grandmothers I made with AI, because the idea is not just about creating cool virtual spaces, but how we're going to use these spaces to tell stories and create immersive experience for an audience, right? So in these spaces that I created, I will show you soon, you can interact, embody these virtual spaces. It's a new level of engagement and storytelling is possible. And now it's just I'm working in a lot of projects. One of the projects I'm working is called that El Cholaverso. That is, Cholo means the despective way to call my people. Cholo means like, I don't know, I never liked to be called Chola when I was little, but I have appropriated a term. And I think it's beautiful. And it's this mix of pride today that I am a Chola. And I want to make a Chola verso for all the Cholas and Cholos like me that live in these worlds in between. I am indigenous, but I am an indigenous woman from the city. I cannot change the past, but I can change how I am represented. And I think that this is a work in progress that can be created by just me. Again, this was created, these images, like more than a year ago. So it's a mixture of real images that I used to train my own AI and AI generated images. Again, today probably I can make it better.
Fortalecerá nuestra identidad y ayudará a descubrir y respetar nuestra verdadera identidad. Por eso, respetar nuestra historia.
And then, before I go to the next thing, that is to show you, I'm also working in creating a feminist AI for different reasons. But one of them is that the IMF estimates that 26 million women jobs in 30 countries, mainly the members of the organizations of economic cooperation and development, where they have the data, because I don't think they have the data from Bolivia, have at least 70% risk of being replaced by technology within the next 20 years. And considering that the existing algorithms treat men as the default and women as atypical, bias and discrimination are in danger of becoming even more pervasive within our societies, with our own personal data becoming the world's most valuable commodity, and the algorithm processes being used to perpetuate gender and racial biases. We must develop ways to use the power of AI to change this path, or in the not so distant future, we will continue to lose all the rights that we already have. Language is a powerful tool that reinforces and perpetuates gender inequality worldwide. That's why we are creating a feminist AI that will challenge these biases and promotes gender equality. The creation of the AI itself can be considered a documentary, I think, as we document the processes of building and training it. I need a lot of data, and I need to develop a way that it's conscious, ethical, that we pay the woman that we use their writing to train these models. When I started this project, you had to do this cleaning manually. Now today, 10 years later, 3 months later, you can actually do that automatically, right? I'm working with Mujeres Creando in Bolivia, and they are actually, Maria Galindo is one of my biggest heroes, and she is a Bolivian feminist that challenges the patriarchal norms and practices through activism. So we want to create actually with women artists, academics, activists, politicians, thinkers from around the world. Of course, I don't have the funds to create an entire feminist AI from zero, so I have a few ideas, like training and ChatGPT-3, working with social intents. I have few pathways that I developed. And I also gonna show you a little example of one human generator. When I asked this human generator, I am on a journey, to give me, it's my face, and to give me, put me in a t-shirt and jeans. And I asked this generator every single time, and look what happened. About making a film to create a feminist AI. And this is why. Yesterday, I was playing with this human generator. I gave my face, and each iteration, I asked to be put in jeans and a t-shirt. And again, I was sexualized. My body was sexualized when I didn't ask for it. And I actually specifically said to be put on jeans and a t-shirt. Okay, I look great, okay? That's not a problem. But the problem is that I wanted to be put on jeans and a t-shirt. But because all of these AI generators are trained by men, this is what we get. Exactly this is what we get. The sexualization of our own bodies. I'm seeing a question here. Can I ask which AI tools you use for the French talking video of yourself and to change your Glasgow tag? From my the Glasgow talk, I did it with DID, and from the French, I don't remember, but I can send it to you. I will look for it. I use so many things. I use one of the generators. I'm going to stop sharing this screen because I would like to show you how I work with AI. I want to show you my processes, how I work with ChatGPT, not to write things, but actually create systems, generate systems, how I teach myself programs using AI, because that's what I'm very interested in showing you. So I'm going to stop this and I'm going to share again. And let's see where I go. Okay, first I'm gonna share you that when I say semantic coding, I mean I code with words. Okay, I ask the system what I want the system to create for me. And then I use the code to cut and paste. And through the time, I learn a little bit more to debug. So in this case, I don't believe that we can talk about the colonization if we're still looking at editing is very difficult. Not everybody can edit a film. And I want to use technology to change those processes, to make editing as easy as clicking. So I'm clicking the computer and I get all of these. So I want to understand film, stop understanding film in a linear way, but I also want everybody to have the capacity to edit, and edit to be as easy as clicking a button. So this is what I'm creating. It's like a mood board, and I also think that you can start understanding stories in a different way. All of these little videos were generated by AI. And then I also created this system. It's the same. You just have lines and you can delete things. And I also created one that you can change all the colors, and color correction becomes pressing a button once you decided what you wanted to happen. And this is a bit the same, but you can move what you wanted to say. So anyone can tell their own story. Anyone can use these methods to tell their own stories without having to learn very difficult software generated by men. Technology needs to be digital, physical, and digital, has to open our eyes and our options and our opportunities. It can't be reduced. For this, I'm not stealing anybody's work. I'm actually using code to create systems that I am developing those systems, but I am not a coder, right? So here again, I'll close this. Maybe all this, by the way, all this is experimentation, pure experimentation. So here, as I was saying to you, I do the same, but pressing a button and invert, and that is how I believe color correction should be. So color correction will become a fact that pressing one button. Correct? I'll close this and I'll go something I just created 2 days ago. Oh, maybe, I don't know, a few days ago. And again, oh. Yeah, sorry. So I created these little flowers, but I also can draw here. So I believe storytelling has to liberate us. And again, if you see, they move, they become bigger with the mouse. Sorry. And they become smaller. So draggable and movable. What I'm just showing you is how we can start thinking about the physicality and the different ways we can tell a story and how we can create our own systems. Lately, I'm very interested in graffitis. So for me, it's a way of telling a story, and I can use this as part of this journey. And my daughter loves it. And this is generative art, procedural, so it goes forever. And it's always gonna go and change. Again, this is one of the last ones I created, but I created a lot, like these little things that are interactive and also immersive. So I'll show you how I do it a little bit. I think it's interesting. So perhaps I go to ChatGPT and I said, oh my God, I do a lot. So lately I'm playing a lot with getting to describe. I wanted to create a poster, so I got it to describe the poster. And as soon as describe the poster, I use the same description to generate something on a pixel art or something like that. But where's my code? Oh God. So if I wanna perhaps learn to do something like Touch Designer, I said, can you please teach me to use Touch Designer as if I didn't know anything in this world? Let me see where it is. Yeah. So this is how I play. I am designing these condors that I'm gonna use in an exhibition. And I was asking to help me to, I'll see what I asked. Okay, I gave this picture and I say, analyze and create a system of connections for me. So then did this analyzation and created this system of connection. And I say, well, can you create a simple framework for me? and then said that I need 3JS, TensorFlow, and WebXR API. And then like it gave me how I should create, right? And then it gave me a pseudocode. With this pseudocode, I have to load the libraries and I have to go to 3JSON to be able to make this, right? So I ask whatever I need, but I have to understand what I want to ask. I have to have an idea of what I want to ask and how I'm going to do this framework of ideas and stories. And that's how I create all of these systems that I was showing you. I said, so I have to think about how to design the systems. I have to think about how A relate to B, relate to C, relate to D. And I can ask anything. I can ask, teach me how to use Unity, teach me how to use Unreal Engine, teach me how to decimate a model, and it will teach you. So you're using this in a way to empower yourself, right? I don't know, as you know, I really work a lot on to these things. I really ask everything that I don't understand. In sense, this is nothing to do with news or things like that. About how I can integrate a 3D website with a thing. In this one, I was asking for my daughter how I can teach her to keep going in 3 languages. And I developed a system for her. I'll show you. So she can keep learning in 3 languages. I don't know, I work a lot with code in this way. I work a lot asking for these new collaborations. So where I am. So in this one, I want to be able to do human capture and motion capture without the need of a suit. As I say, I want people to be able to use these systems in the global south without the need. And now it's following my nose. So it's capturing the movement of my face. Can you see it? So this is something I created like a few days ago. And in here, it captures the movement of my hands and my fingers. And it's the same way I did it. I said, can you help me to create something with computer vision that actually captures the movement of my hands? Can you help me to develop a system to create motion capture? So in this one, I have to press draw and it follows my finger. And then I do black, draw again, white. So I'm using all of these systems. I'm developing all of these systems in order to open these magic tricks to tell stories, right? To use it in installations, to use it in storytelling, as you will be able to open your camera and do this and write messages. So I'm actually constantly developing these ideas. This one, I think, is really a work in process. This one, when I get bored, it stops and change images of. So I'm actually with my eye. Oh, I'm also making. So I'm not pressing anything. I'm doing all through my eyes.
it, it wasn't that a depiction of et pour moi il est
So then again,
et pour moi il est très important de briser cette idée de l'élitisme de l'art et de briser ces frontières de pourquoi.
so this is still a work in progress,
It wasn't
and I haven't worked out yet the user experience, but I have worked the tech behind it. So can you imagine making a film where the character can move its face, or making a 3D experience with the person can move its face and can change videos as they want, as they wish.
et
And
pour
when
moi
they
il
get
est très
bored, it changes. And also it responds to you. So I
why
am
can I
actually
not use technology?
working on that way. And this one is for the motion capture of the entire body. So in this one, I did it with words. But it captures my motion, and then you can transfer that through a 3D model. So you don't need a motion capture suit that is so expensive. And you don't have to rely on a company to develop this for you. You can actually develop yourself. This for me was a play like with poetry, right? And so I would like you to, I'm just giving you a lot of examples because I would like to open your minds and to think about all of these ways that you can create using the power of AI without going into these ethical debates, right? Maybe, I don't know. Give me a sec. Sorry. So also, I'm supposed to show you my galleries, right? And this is, I said, this is a gallery that I created a year ago because I wanted to show my brother the exhibition that we put together about these grandmothers that I created with AI. And what would you think if I told you that the grandmother in this portrait, who looks like my great grandmother, and maybe also yours, it never existed? So this is a 3D scan, and we just put it on a spatial. By the way, this character here is my brother. I think he was playing with my spatial and made his own. And I wanted to depict my grandmothers with dignity. I wanted to give back dignity to the Quechua grandmothers that were always shown in this colonized way. So this is really a copy of this thing. This is a gallery called Spatial. It's very easy to use. You can actually build on Unity too. It has a way of building on Unity. This is just a spray from a scanned Blender to this to this place. We play a little bit how they were generated. Let me go. So you can also put videos, photographs, and you can meet people. I think up to 60 or something people inside this gallery. I don't know why it doesn't play. Anyway. Sorry. Anyway, you can play the video. I don't know what. So then you can actually meet friends here, and you can also create worlds here. And this becomes part of worlding and a new way of telling stories, but a new way of living the stories that we tell. 2 years or more than 2 years ago, we also created our own voxel model for Prison X, my first VR experience. And this is older, but this gallery actually belongs to us. So we're never gonna pay fees, monthly fees or anything, because it's within the decentralized system of Ethereum. And so at the moment we have the exhibition of PrisonX here. And I realized through time, PrisonX was recently again at South by South Sydney. And I realized how much of an amazing PrisonX is the basis of the Neo-Andean metaverse, and how in the future, when people will talk about the first VR interactive and immersive experiences, the Quechua people might, and the indigenous people and the Andean people and people from Africa won't have to look at the Lumiere brothers to learn, but we can look at each other and we can learn from each other and we can develop our own visual languages. And I'm very proud of it. And I realize how much of a big piece PrisonX will always be and what will become. This is the, rather than presenting in a boring way today, I always send people to the box. So, and it's still really cool. You can still meet friends. Here you can play the trailers. And yeah, it's a big gallery, and it has the shape of a cholet, that it's a neo-Andean futuristic way of architecture. And these are the aguayos, that are our traditional clothes. And these little things here are the alacitas. Like, I think soon we should meet here rather than in this way that we're meeting, that we can actually embody these places. The alacitas is, we like everything quite small. So and even the music and the mood. And upstairs is also this gallery is part of our collective COA, and yeah, it has a lot of different arts, and it's always changing. We're always changing of the new things that we're making. And that's when I say about spatial cognition, like the way that we have to understand the 3D space and the way that we understand this world. I was also talking a little bit about how you can train your own AI models. In a lot of the stuff that I use my own generated models. And one of these ones I wanted to show you, it was only created by 30 pictures. So you actually in Runway ML, there are different ways of training, but this one is quite easy. You choose 30 pictures, you make a lot of mistakes, and then to create your generator, I create mine called Chenko, means mixture of everything. And it's quite nice now, and it can give me nice faces and everything. And then I create pictures based on that. And based on the picture, then I create the video. I also use TensorFlow and others, but this is the simplest one when you're starting to. So I advise you to write to Runway ML, because they do give fellowships, especially for artists in countries in development. Write to them and ask them to give you 1 million credits or a fellowship, because then you will train and then you will get more efficient. But this training process takes a bit of time. So I really recommend you you find them on Twitter and you write to them. Yeah, and then you learn how to, in this one first you put all sorts of different images, and then what you get is a Chenko. That's what it's called, Chenko. But then you start saying, no, I don't think you can see it, or maybe you can. No, you can't. But that's how you do. And then how you generate videos you can generate with these images, right? So I can use my own personal image that I created from, oh gosh, where it is, select from assets. I have thousands here. This is a constant this is a constant, this is mine. This is mine too. This is mine too. So I picked this one, perhaps. And I can write what I want, or I can just say how I want the camera to move. I said, this is like a camera to me. And then I put generate 4 seconds. And let's see, I didn't put anything. So it will take a little bit of time. Depends how busy is the system. Everything happens on the cloud, and you can generate your own images. But this is not the way that I created the older ones. The older ones I created with my own processes. This is something that is already made. So it's a little bit more complicated, I guess, in terms of ethics and all of that. But it's also more pretty. So it's like, it's harder when you train your own model, right? We can wait a little bit. You have questions, guys?
For you, Violeta?
Yep. Do you have any questions?
Thank you so much, Violeta. Your work is amazing. I really love the fact that you're using a lot of tools to build something that seems intuitive to you. So well done. My question is really simple around costs. On a top of your mind monthly basis, how much do you spend on the different tools that you're using? An amalgamated cost.
The thing is, because I started doing this really early on, I got a lot of fellowships. So I don't pay Runaway ML. I think it goes, I don't know. I really don't know. I don't pay pretty much, except like, I think I pay Google Drive and all of these places to keep my ChatGPT. I think it's $20 a month. But how much I would pay, I don't know, maybe $150 a month with the amount of stuff that I create, maybe less. That's a bit of a trick, right? But we are still early enough that a lot of us can get into the systems, learn these systems, copy these systems, create our own systems. And I think that you can ask for to be given a fellowship or something like this, or credits. And another thing I wanted to say is that also with 15 seconds of a video that I take in 360, Luma is for free, by the way, Luma AI. So you can actually film a 360, like a 360 environment in 15 seconds, make it a lot of sets of 60 seconds. And then you can actually go to Luma AI, and you can have a metaverse or like a 3D world created for you. And then you can import it to Unity or Unreal. As you can see, this is terrible because I'm still learning, okay? And I'm training. But I know this is the ugly one, sorry. Yeah, this doesn't work. This one is the one that I got it working. So this is me. This is a video of me. And then I use Runway ML to change it to an anime. And as you can see, it's starting to have shape. So it's so difficult to create these worlds. And now I am finding a way to make it easier. And also I'm creating, like, I don't know, cities. I call this in city. It's all a training process. And by the way, Luma AI, it's for free. Another question?
Hi, Viola. Thank you so much. I think what you said about we can't change the history, but we can change how we're represented that was really great to hear and for us to remember. When you were talking about metacognition, I understand it at a high level, and I think it's usually quite easy to be aware of the bias in other people's perspective, but a lot harder to do that of your own perspective. And I'm just wondering how you actually apply that in your practice.
At the moment, I'm going through a very deep moment of introspection. I'm questioning myself every second. I feel like everything that I have done to now, I don't know if it's worth it, because we talk about colonization, we talk about all of these things, and look what's happening. So I feel deeply, and I don't have much energy. And I came to talk to you guys because it's you, because it's Electric South in Africa. And I wouldn't have done this today to other team of people because I feel deeply hurt and I'm questioning my values and I question my ideas and I question myself every day. And if I understand that something is not correct, I will not do it. I'm not going to continue doing things that I don't believe are correct. And at the moment, I'm on this deep questioning of myself. I also believe that I don't know what's going to happen with AI. And it's a very, very difficult situation that we're all in. I think if we don't understand and we don't use and we don't create our own models, we might be in a worse moment. But I don't know. I question myself about I am part of the system of oppression. I question myself by taking a photograph, just by the fact that I have a camera, taking a photograph of somebody else. That's extractivism because I'm benefit from it. Not just because of my talent, but also because the tool that I have, right? How we can change those systems, that everybody will benefit, not just me because I have the tool. I question myself on my role as a filmmaker. I also look at the opportunities that this moment can bring to me. I feel quite powerful because of all the tools that I can use and I have learned. And I have learned to design systems. I'm very confused.
Thank you for that honest answer.
I don't really have a question, Violeta. I just want to say I'm so glad to know that you exist. I come from a school of thought where an artist must reflect their times. I'm very deep, my work is very deeply feminist, very deeply rooted and located here. And I'd figured out my own negotiations with the medium that I use, the other mediums that I use, but I didn't know how I felt about this space. And also because I didn't like what I saw coming out of the space. If you look for like speculative futures coming out of Africa, it's not a future that I want to live in. And so seeing your work, even seeing the metaverses that you created that are A, artistically beautiful, but B, they're not desolate, they're not arid. The indigenous people are happy they belong to the land. They have not been removed and cast out in space. And thank you. I just want to say thank you. It really moved something in me. And even though your work is very, very specifically located in your geopolitics, I feel incredibly seen. And I'm grateful to know that you exist. That's my comment. Yeah.
Thank you. I think it's very important that we appropriate these places. And we don't have to make it ours because they are ours. Because no one, like, honestly, the metaverses that white people are creating and they're so boring. They have no soul. They have lost their soul and they make it all bright because they cannot invent culture, because they have no culture. And I'm not talking about white specific in color. I think I was very specific in my presentation. It's about way of thinking, a way of understanding the world. And I believe that way is old and boring and lacks of imagination and creativity. And I want all of you, and I want myself, to bring all of these tools that we can develop ourselves to our people. I want to create technology that actually makes access, breaks access, makes access easy and sustainable. And I think that on that search, I also have to be careful, because I know that a lot of people can use all of these things also to harm my people. So this is a very deep balancing act. I believe that we can create AI over a book. We can use the streets. We can use the street art, the graffitis. We don't have to copy what we saw. We saw what it took us to copy. Cinema was invented only 100 years ago, and they made, like, it wasn't just about changing the content, it's also changing the form. So we have the opportunity today to change the form. Let's do it. So we are not here in 100 or 200 years ago later than now. We are not in the same situation, and we can actually look forward to a future that we want to dream, and to a future that we want to preserve, to our own languages. I think that we do have the capacity. We can create scans with a phone. We don't need to even do scans, because soon, like, we can actually take photographs, write, draw, create systems, develop these ideas, use AI in a way to teach us, to educate us, to break those boundaries that separate us of all these people that create this technology with no soul. Let's break that mentality.
So much, Violeta. I mean, you've, I think, inspired us all to take up the tools that are available at the moment to us in wherever we are. And it's been hugely inspiring to listen to you talk, as always. And thank you for your time. And I think in parting, there's this quote by Yasmin Elayat, who some of you may know. She says, "Let's democratize the imagination." And you've really helped us to be curious and to also be inspired to do just that. We can imagine what our worlds and our spaces look like in these metaverses, in these alternative worlds, and rooted in a kind of understanding, in a personal and cultural and very specific understanding of ourselves and our people and where we come from. So I just want to ask, in parting, before we close, can you just tell us like exactly where to find you? Because we've seen so much, and I think a lot of us want to go and get connected with you. So where can we find you? Online. And when will you invite us to a virtual meetup? When can we do that? Do you have any? Do you do any kind of activations, any events, any convenings?
I will. I think we should actually do it. I am the Jaguares in Twitter, in Instagram, in TikTok. I am koa.xyz. You can also look into my experiments in my website. And honestly, guys, take it all. Like, if you ask me for code, if you ask me for things, if you ask me for ideas, if you want me to walk you through how this, an hour and a half is not enough. But if you ask me to walk you through systems, to walk you through I believe one thing is very important. My relationship with artificial intelligence is my relationship with a book. I learned to read. When I read for you, you can enjoy it, but only you can read for yourself and imagine and make your own conclusions. This is what we need to achieve with AI. So I can show you how I think, I can show you how I produce, but it's on your hands to do it, this relationship. Please feel free to ask me for any code that you need. If you know exactly what you want, write it for me. If you don't have the access, because I know also in Bolivia, people don't have the access, ask me for the code that you need. If you said, I want to learn Violeta, this kind of software, and I don't have credits in ChatGPT or in cloud or in any other AI, ask me and I will cut and paste the code for you. You just need to think about the system. You need to think about the architecture. You need to think about your relationship with the book. But if you need that, please ask me. I have friends that ask me about to look for their codes in Touch Designer, and I send them things and it works. Sometimes it doesn't, but they do it. So I'm very happy. I think that collaboration, co-creation, community is so important today. And I have no desire to hide anything from anybody. I don't believe in competition. I believe competition is from the past. Competition is what it brought us here. We have a way, and that way means community, and that way means co-creation, and that way means that if I create something and I share with you, I'm much more happy that I'm sharing with you. So you can create something better than what I created over what I created. You can do better than me. You can move further than me. And I'm more happy because, one day we all gonna die and go into the black box. And anything that will stay is what others create over what we create. I don't want to compete. I'm tired to compete. I want to create together. And this is my deep desire with all of you, because this is the way that we can make architectural systems, design worlds, and together, if we form data syndicates with all our images, so then when they used to train in the biggest training machines, they pay us, but we need to get together first to create these data syndicates. We need to learn how these systems works. We need to learn how we can develop things that will work for us, so then we can say we know how to do this and we can actually do it together. It's something I cannot do it on my own. It's something that you cannot do it on your own. It's something that we must do together. And I ask you with all my heart to do that together, like to work together in
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you again, Violeta. Thank you. Thank you for your time. I think we're at time now, and we're going to close the Zoom, and we look forward to staying connected with you. And be sure you are going to get a few emails. So please, if you're happy for us to share your email, I will share it with the group that's here. So thanks again.
Yes, please do so.
Bye.
Bye-bye.